Check.
All right, check. Let's just do a dry run through just so I can keep make sure it's like just do the intro.
Okay, welcome to Mythic Legendaries, a podcast about Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone, brought to you by two old friends who love podcasts and the games we play. My name is Mike Sapphire.
My name is Rich G.
Hello, Rich G. How are you today?
Wonderful. All right, that's good.
Gathering and Hearthstone, brought to you by two old friends who love podcasts and the games we play. My name is Mike Sapphire.
My name is Rich G.
Great. Hello, Rich G.
That sounds great. All right.
Okay.
Episode 28, and here. Wait, let me zoom out. Where's the zoom? Watch. All right,
and go. From a tall hill overlooking Rhode Island, we can see Federal Hill, we can see all of Providence, the State House, all the way down to the Newport Bridge, and almost see Connecticut from here, from this view. This is where our studio is. We bring you Mythic Legendaries, episode number 28. This is a podcast about Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone.
Yes,
brought to you by two old friends who love podcasts and the games we play. My name is Mark Sapphire.
My name is Rich G.
Hello, Rich G.
Hi.
How are you today?
Great.
Today, in the Hearthstone side of the table, we'll be talking about nerfs that just got announced 53 minutes ago.
Awesome. Hot, fresh news.
And also be doing a deck of the week and talking about trying to break the meta and what's coming up.
Awesome.
That's going on in Hearthstone.
On the Magic side, we're going to do some more Theros Beyond Death spoilers. We have a new set that comes out in a week.
Wow.
Which is great. And then a couple decks I built. Decks of the week, I'm going to call them. A couple things that I brewed and the results that they're having. And then we're going to talk about Star Wars.
Hell yeah.
An early spoiler alert for anybody listening who didn't read the description of the episode. We're going to talk about the Rise of Skywalker at the end of the episode.
Okay.
So we're going to announce a spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And we're going to end it. So if anybody doesn't want to, we're going to talk about the movie straight up. We're going to get into it. Spoilers abound.
Yes.
So there's your warning.
Okay.
All right.
Have you seen Mandalorian?
No, I don't have Disney Plus. I saw the first episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen it either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be getting. I think I'm gonna get the free trial for 7 days next week. So I'll share with you my login,
That's the way
and maybe we can both binge it.
All right. I'd love that.
So usually I bring you Taco Bell.
Yes.
7-layer burrito, no cheese, no sour cream, add potatoes.
Right.
But you said that you're going gluten-free.
I have. Yes, I did.
So I brought you.
Do you have a surprise in your bag?
Reese's Pieces. It says gluten-free.
Yeah, but they're not vegan.
It's peanut butter.
No. Well, it is. I really miss those too.
Damn it.
I can't eat them.
Would
So
it hurt you if I ate them?
No. So
But
if
it's
you ever,
gluten-free, Rich.
so if you ever want to,
Too bad you couldn't eat a Fig Newton, because these Fig Newtons, they were vegan, they were non-GMO, they were grass-fed.
usually on the ingredients for anything nowadays, they'll have an allergen warning in big black bold letters under the ingredients that will say contains milk, contains soy, contains. These don't have that warning, but the last ingredient is milk.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
So it's usually really easy to look at the ingredients and things now and just like skip to the bottom and see, oh, it contains milk, fine, can't eat it, whatever. But yeah, eat those.
How come
Eat those.
I can't eat during the podcast. I never do that.
Yeah, no, you can't do
I
that.
always eat before.
People hate that.
Sorry.
I appreciate the offer. Those I really miss those. Those are really good.
How's it going with the
good.
with the gluten-free month?
It's good. So far so good. I started on like the what's today? Today's
I have no
Wednesday?
idea.
Is it Wednesday? Yeah.
Yes.
So I started on like Saturday night. I scaled down, and then Sunday I started, and it's really easy because pretty much my diet beforehand was like almost gluten free except for
Is it
all the
easy
bread,
to
and
be
the pasta.
vegan and gluten free?
It is, yeah.
Really?
I mean, granted, I did eat a lot of bread and a lot of pasta and stuff because it's easy.
Yeah, but you can get gluten free
But
pasta.
you can. I have a lot of it. It's really good.
There's a lot of. I know they sell a lot of gluten free stuff now.
Yes, yeah, it's really easy to get, and it's been fine. I just, planning out kind of my meals ahead of time, like when I'm going to eat, and then what I'm going to eat. It's easy. I've done it before, and it's fine. So I have a tendency to eat a lot of bread when it's around, and especially during the holidays when there's like cookies and treats, and then like the dinners are like full of like
so much bread.
just so much bread, so much pasta, and so much wheat in a lot of things. So I just read the ingredients, and then I eat a lot of plants. I eat a lot of green
So it's
stuff,
not.
so.
It wasn't an allergy.
No, it was more. I want to reset my body too.
This is in my line of sight.
If you want to move it,
Can I put it down a little bit?
I can get it for you.
Perfect. That's awesome.
But I have to do this.
Thank you.
Is that all right?
Yeah,
All right, good.
that's great.
Okay.
So it wasn't an allergy.
No
Right.
allergy.
It was
Just bod reset.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have severe allergies to gluten.
Some people do. Some people don't.
And
Some people just.
Sometimes.
There's a whole world of
There's a lot
gluten-free
of
people
things.
out there. Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I'm
Thanks.
glad it's going well.
Yeah, it's easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hearthstone.
Yeah. What's going on? 58 minutes ago, we had some breaking news.
Yes. So Augustine Ayala, Ixar HS, who's a senior game designer at Blizzard, lead card designer for Hearthstone, gamer, number cruncher, Twitch watcher, and pizza lover. Sounds like our kind of person. He announced that the nerfs are gonna go live soon. He said. We don't know exactly when.
Oh, so there was an announcement, but it didn't happen. So
Yeah.
they still have to update everything.
Balance
Gotcha.
update notes are up.
Gotcha.
Some changes to constructed battlegrounds, a couple bug fixes, and arena micro adjustments.
Cool.
Let us know what you think.
Awesome.
But we're not sure exactly when they start. But here they are. Warlock. This is for standard. Warlock, Fiendish Rites, mana cost increased from 3 to 4. Warrior, Scion of Ruin, mana cost increased from 3 to 4. Ankar, durability reduced from 3 to 2. Ankar is the weapon that every time you swing it, you draw a pirate from your deck? Or is it a min with rush? Jamie? But now you can only do it
2 times.
2 times. But there's another pirate that brings back your weapon that's been destroyed.
Gotcha.
So I'm not sure. It does. It's a subtle nerf.
Right.
It's not a nuke, as what some people call like big changes.
Yeah, making something usable 2 times as strong is way better than 3 times. I mean, if you use, it just makes
It
sense.
still seems strong.
Yeah.
So that's good. It doesn't feel like, because that's a legendary weapon, so it still feels valuable. This is only, I quickly reviewed it, scanned it, and now this is my first time like really reading it.
Yeah, you're like, this is like legit first time just seeing it and reading it for the first time on the pod, so that's great.
Shaman, Dragon's Pack, now reads.
Pack or pact?
Pack.
Dragon pack. I would hate to encounter a pack of dragons.
It's awful when it happens. Because it's, I had this one ready to go. Summon 2/2/3 spirit wolves with taunt. If you've invoked twice, give them +3/+3.
Wow.
It's going to go from +3/+3 to +2/+2. It's been reduced.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because that was crazy. Seeing those wolves with taunt it hurts your soul.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be a little bit easier to deal with, I'm assuming. I still haven't played Galakron Shaman because I'm missing cards, but that didn't stop me from dusting a bunch of stuff to make Face Hunter, which, oh man, I've been on a mission with Face Hunter to try to make it work. I've been trying so hard to climb, and I've abandoned my deck ideas, and now I'm just like looking for viable decks.
The good ones, it's the vicious cycle that we go through.
It's really strong. When it wins quickly and brutally. But if you're facing Resurrection Priest, then you're going to lose. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose. With the lists I have, we'll talk about that later.
Cool.
Moving on, Invocation of Frost, mana reduce cost increase from 1 to 2. Invocation of Frost was 1 mana, freeze an enemy, invoke Galakron.
Okay.
That's a shaman card. So when you invoke Galakron, you summon a 2/1 elemental with Rush. So if you're playing Hunter or you're playing Warrior that is very weapon heavy, that is a very devastating first turn play because you're freezing your enemy from using a weapon next turn, and you're invoking Galakron. It's very strong for 1.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy. My first reaction to that is that's great. It's going from 1 to 2. That's great. Anything just I'm hating Shaman right now. I'm hating everything that's preventing me from climbing the ladder.
And so is that the dominant archetype right now, Shaman?
Dominant archetype.
Or like the number 1 deck or whatever.
Well, let's look it up right now. I actually have had my head in the sand.
What are you, an ostrich?
Well, I'm looking for the meta breaker. So I hate when HS replay delays. Okay, so saying tier 1 is Pirate Warrior, which I was playing Pirate Warrior. It was really good, but I wasn't able to. Then it says second. These are all tier 1. These are all really close. Galakron Zoo Warlock. I was playing that too, but it just was losing steam.
Why is it called Zoo? I see that every once in a while. Why is it called Zoo? Do you know?
I don't know.
Are there a lot of animals involved? Because I mean, that's the only like.
Oh my god!
Is that like?
Why is it called Zoo? I don't know, but it any Zoo deck is like a tokeny.
Okay.
A tokeny deck, and Galakron Zoo Warlock is awesome because the Galakron summons 2/1/1 demons. Whenever you invoke Galakron, it summons 2/1/1 demons, and then you have stuff that pumps up all of your minions, and it's incredible.
You get like a bunch of stuff on board. Is that why you get like you have a lot of?
Oh yeah, the board is full. It's about overwhelming your opponent and hitting face.
That's cool.
So people were speculating about these nerfs for I don't know almost a week, and saying that Galakron was going to get nerfed, and there's no Galakron nerf.
Do they ever announce a thing and then not announce something? Like, do they surprise? Like, would they ever not say they're going to do something and then do it? Has that ever happened?
Well, no.
You know, give you like a list of 5 things and then do 6 things. You know, like be like, oh, and by the way, we're nerfing Galakron or whatever.
No.
Okay.
This would be.
If I ran Blizzard, that's what I would do.
Well, this has been posted to the Blizzard forum by a community manager. Welcome to a new year in the tavern, everyone. We have a balance update in the works that will go live quote later this week, which includes the following changes, primarily for standard and battlegrounds. None of them are. I haven't read all of them. I just glanced. I'll continue. None of them seem earth-shattering. Nerf to Necreum Apothecary, the rogue card. Mana cost increased from 4 to 5. This is like one of the key cards in the Death Rattle Rogue. other cat is right behind the camera.
She's making sure the shot's right.
Oh, thank you. She's looking through. This is our first time recording. It's very exciting. So that's the card that when it comes out, it gains a death rattle of a death rattle card in your deck.
Right.
And
a random one?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you draw it. You draw a death rattle card and gain its death rattle.
Okay.
And it's the one that everyone's doing the card that pumps all of your minions in your hand +3/+3. So they're nerfing that a bit. Well, I was playing that and I abandoned it.
Really?
Yeah. Neutral cards. Moving on. Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. Battle cry effect can no longer generate Dragon Queen Alexstrasza.
Oh, that's what remember Zethun's thing? Remember the moments of the year? Remember a couple episodes ago?
Yeah.
And that's exactly, it was played one,
Got
him one, then played it again.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were saying.
I played that card a bunch. It never happened to me, but I didn't even realize it could happen.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really hurt me.
Right.
But that would have been epic. And now it makes sense what he was saying.
Gotcha.
Wow. Yeah, that would be super strong, super duper strong. And that's it for the standard nerfs. Then there's a bunch of Battlegrounds nerfs, so have fun with those.
Yeah, have fun reading about those.
Yeah, nothing to Galakron. Galakron's still gonna be strong. People were saying, if the nerfs are what I think they're gonna be,
They never are. They never are.
Handlock is gonna be the deck.
They never are.
So I hope you didn't go all in on Handlock, because it looks like everything is gonna still be strong. They just want to even things out.
Right.
That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
So that's what they want. They want an even meta. They don't want one dominant deck.
Right.
So we're still there. So these nerfs are they going to affect the meta somehow.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how.
Yeah, it definitely will. Yeah. Whenever you change the power of a card or eliminate a card, it's gonna like make waves for sure.
There's a solo content is coming out. There's a new solo adventure coming out, where there's going to be 35 new cards.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So you can earn them by playing through the solo adventure.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a lot of information on it, but it's going to change the meta. It's going to change the game.
That's just
bro.
like just like dropping 35 new cards
into
just
standard.
Like woo, like
Yeah.
here we go. That's wild. It's not even a set. It's just like
That's a
supplemental
money
cards.
grab if I ever heard one.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
Wow.
man! We just bought a bundle.
Yeah.
Now we got. Then we bought the Winter Veil bundle,
Right. You have to buy these. You can't.
and now you
right?
got to buy the solo adventure
Okay.
to get. Well,
So there's no.
you can still craft the cards.
Okay.
I assume. Yeah, you have to be able to craft them.
Right.
If they're in standard,
Right.
you'd be able to craft them. But
That's.
you can earn all of them by playing through the solo adventures, which are really fun adventures.
That's
So,
cool.
Yeah. So
that would be wild in Magic that they just. Oh man, that would be so cool just to be like, hey, by the way, here's 20 new cards that are, and all of them be like rare and mythic.
Yeah.
You know, just have them all be like, that'd be neat.
So if this is underwhelming, this nerf.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like this is not a big meta shift, but there's going to be a big meta shift this month when this new solo adventure drops.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as we get some information about cards and maybe get some card leaks or card reveals,
Yeah.
we
We can start theory crafting and see.
can
how
start
it
theory
affects it.
crafting and then we have a shot. Because we're trying to climb. I'm at 10. I was almost at 9 this morning. I've been playing Face Hunter.
Sounds aggressive.
Super aggressive. Wicked aggressive.
Is it like mono red?
It can be.
All right.
There was two lists. One was very mono. Two lists that I tried. One was by a player named D-Man.
D-Man HS?
D-Man_HS.
Oh, all right.
D-Man said he was D-Man. And he said, he was so stoked.
Yeah.
He's like, fewest games ever to rank 1. Bro. He didn't say bro. 19 games so far, 17 wins, 2 losses.
Wow,
That's incredible.
that is incredible.
So there's deck code in the thread.
Yep.
I'm like, this is it.
Yep. You know, those
Plugging in.
deck codes. Sorry,
Yeah.
those deck codes are ridiculous. The string of like letters and numbers, like they haven't figured out how to condense that yet. That's
Good
wild.
point.
That's wild that you have to all that stuff. Every
Good
time I
point.
see it, I thought it's like a mistake. Like in the beginning when I
Yeah.
was just learning, you would post something, and I thought that you accidentally like, I don't know, like copy and pasted the actual like code from the page because it's all just like all this stuff. That's wild. That's like, here's 7,000 letters and numbers, uppercase and lowercase, and that's a deck.
I never even. But yeah, you're right.
Because with Arena, you literally like when you import, it's the card name, the set it's from, like what version of it,
Uh-huh.
and then like a number which corresponds with the card, and you copy and paste just like that list.
Uh-huh.
You copy it into your clipboard, go into Arena, and then click import deck, and then it pops up.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no like crazy string plays up. But anyway, I just was wondering.
Yeah, and
That's a lot of information.
That's through the client.
Yeah.
That's through the Blizzard client for Hearthstone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, whatever works. I mean, it works. So yeah, whatever. Just for somebody who doesn't like clutter,
Yeah.
seeing that is just like, whew. And then if you just
for
miss
someone
like,
new to the game
Yeah.
who's like,
what's
is
this?
this
Yeah.
real?
Yeah, that's real. What if you missed the last like?
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work, right?
Yeah, it's got to be
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yep.
I'm not sure if anybody knows this, but if you rename your deck before you copy and paste the code, when you paste the code, it'll be there. The name of the deck will be there.
Mhm.
So if you want credit for some kind of deck you created,
Yeah,
please just put your Twitter in there or something. Name it. Why not?
Yep.
Just something that bothers me.
All right, on to your face smash.
Yes. So I will have both of these in the show notes. Both of these deck lists in the show notes. You can find our show notes in the Apple description of the podcast
Yes.
and also on our Discord,
Yes.
discord.me/mythic legendaries.
The Podbean website, like the web page for
Mhm.
the episode, will have it also. So there's clickable links in the Apple one, clickable links on the website, but not clickable on Google or Spotify. So
Okay.
like when we so if you
Oh,
listen
good to know. I
strictly on
didn't realize.
Spotify, yeah, if you listen on Spotify and that's the only one, and you want links, you can't get them. So you need to use one of those other resources like our Discord, or just going to the website.
We have a Podbean home landing, like a
Yeah,
web page.
yeah. So like every
Yeah.
episode that gets uploaded, it's like a homepage. They're all there, and all those links are clickable. So just in case somebody's out
Cool.
there that wants that information and doesn't want to like join a Discord
Oh,
or
that's
whatever.
cool. So when I post show notes, I'll also post a link to the app.
Yeah.
Because that's another great way to see the show notes.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we have Face Hunter by Demand.
D-Man,
D-Man.
HS?
D-Man_HS.
Shout out.
Shout out, super aggressive deck. Very weak against Resurrection Priest. Very weak. And so I reached out to him maybe a little too late. I should have reached out to him earlier to try to, because I was like, this is so bad against Resurrection Priest. I don't understand how you could possibly do that well
Mm-hmm.
because Resurrection Priest is out there.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe not at the higher ranks, maybe. I don't know. But we can use he for
Yeah.
D-Man.
Yeah.
He said
Yeah, that works.
he said that Ziliax is in the list. But I don't have Ziliax in the list when I populated the list.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna try to get his. I don't want to criticize it too hard.
Did you miss the last digit?
I
of the
must
code?
have missed
And
the
that's
last
the
letter.
the little H at the end of that entire code is Iliax. So
Yeah.
lowercase h is Iliax.
There were 2 cards I didn't have that I had to craft, and so I actually dusted a couple of legendaries.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't even remember what they were. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Legendaries.
Toxic Reinforcements is an epic card. It's a side quest. Use your hero power 3 times. Reward summon 3/1/1 leopard gnomes. So it's interesting. It's a side quest, which it's like a secret though, but all secrets cost 2. This costs 1. And there's no removal for quests. There's no quest removal, and there's no side quest removal.
So it's just there. You just get it.
You get it for 1 mana, and your opponent can't get rid of it.
Right.
It's really cool. I love it. And so it's
so for me being ignorant to a magic player being ignorant to that aspect of like side quests and things. So like when you do what is it? Like a side quest is like doing something within that match with an opponent, and then you get something for it.
Yeah. So this one reads: use your hero power 3 times. Reward: summon 3 1/1 leopard gnomes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Then if you have a quest, the quest will, when you complete the quest, whatever the conditions are for completing quest, like if you're playing priest, you have to heal yourself a certain amount of times. Then it changes your hero power to do something very powerful. So yeah, that one.
Okay, that makes sense. It's just like another thing to like do, and like then you get a benefit from it.
It becomes another archetype for that.
That's neat.
Hero.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in kind of, but not really exactly like. But with planeswalkers, some of them have an ultimate ability, which if you get their loyalty up high enough, then you can minus their loyalty, and you get an emblem. And an emblem is you can't interact with the emblem at all. Like your opponent can't.
Once it's a new condition for the game.
Exactly.
You earn that thing.
Yeah. So you earn it like the big one. The one is the old Teferi hero Dominaria. I think it's -8. Anytime you draw a card, you get to exile a permanent.
Okay.
So it's like super strong. You earn it. Like his plus, it's +1/+1/+1. And then his strong -3 was really strong. You get to put something 3 cards down into your opponent's library. So there's a lot of like, you can't get there really easy. It's a really balanced planeswalker. But if you get to, usually you would get to 9, and then minus it, so he'd still be at 1. And then you get the emblem, and then once you start drawing cards, like whenever it doesn't, no condition. Like whenever you draw a card, you exile a permanent of your opponent. So once you get there, you pretty much win. But yeah, it's kind of like a side quest or something.
Yeah, it is similar.
Yeah. It's just another rule of that particular game.
The quest is more powerful than the side quest, but you can't get rid of either of them. You can steal your opponent's hero power for like a turn with there's a card that will steal your opponent's hero power for a turn. But yeah, they're there.
Cool, that's neat.
That becomes a new part of the game. Toxic reinforcements are really cool. The leopard gnome is a 1/1 for 1 minion. The death rattle is deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. So it also there's also a card where when you use your hero power, you play a secret from your deck. So you'll play your hero power, and then where is it? It's Phase Stalker. So 2/3 beast for 2 reads: after you use your hero power, cast a secret from your deck. And this runs 2 explosive traps. Explosive trap is a 2-cost secret. When your hero is attacked, deal 2 damage to all enemies. So there's some synergy there with your hero power. And it's really strong. It's just damage to the face.
It's quick. What do you start at in Hearthstone?
You start at 30.
30, okay.
And then it also runs 2 eagle horn bows. Whenever a friendly secret is revealed, gain +1 durability. So it's really fun to play. You get a lot of synergy. And it also has Unleash the Hounds. For each enemy minion, summon a 1/1 hound with charge. So it's got some beast synergies, animal companions. It's got an Iron Beak Owl. I'll post a list in the deck list in our show notes. But just to say, so the creator of the list was saying Ziliax, and that he uses Arcane Shot. There's 2 Arcane Shots in here, which is a 1-cost spell, which just says deal 2 damage. So he uses it on his Ziliax to gain life, which would be very valuable.
Life steal?
With some life steal, yeah. When he takes damage, deals damage. It's interesting. I don't know how that interaction would work, but he says there's really valuable play for him with the Ziliax against Res Priest. I'll figure that out. I'll get back to you on that.
Cool.
But that's another important thing about these Face Hunter decks is the versatility of Arcane Shot, which I didn't realize at first. Which I wish my brain could like figure these things out.
The little intricacies.
Yeah.
Interactions. Yeah.
So I can't be alone on that.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not alone.
What does Arcane Shot do again? What's the card?
It deals 2 damage for 1 to any target, except you can't.
It's a shock.
Any target.
It's shock. It's a shock.
Is it a shock?
2 damage for 1.
Unless it has an evasive thing, you can't target. Unless it's untargetable.
2 damage for 1.
2 damage for 1.
It's a shock.
Shock.
Yeah.
Arcane Shot.
Okay.
Don't forget, you can target your leper gnome.
Don't forget.
Because if you if you can't kill your leper gnome by slamming it into something, you can kill it yourself. You can target yourself. This deck list was great when it won, but it wasn't. I didn't do too well with it, and God bless D-Man for 17-2. Good for you.
Wow.
Good for you. I still haven't given up on your list yet. I'll see what you say. Maybe I can get the actual list, and we'll see how it goes.
Cool.
But I was really excited to play that deck, and I did have fun playing it. Then Sidisi endorsed another Face Hunter list. And since I already had the toxic reinforcements, I'm like pretty much all in on Face Hunter right now.
Yeah.
This was much more successful. This list was much more successful for me. It still runs the 2 toxic reinforcements. The difference is we have more minion-y things going on. It runs 2 Knife Jugglers, which Knife Juggler is a classic minion.
We have a creature called Blade Juggler in Magic.
Really?
Hey. Stop. Yeah.
Knife Juggler is a 2/2 for 2. After you summon a minion, deal 1 damage to a random enemy minion.
Okay.
So it's a classic combo
Right.
with Knife Juggler, and then it has 2 Timberwolves, which Timberwolves is your other beasts have +1 attack. So it's a fun combo. It's a classic. It's one of the evergreen sets. It's either a basic or classic. I don't remember which one, but it's been around for a long time. And yeah, that's the combo with Unleash the Hounds.
Yep.
So if your opponent has a big board, you play Knife Juggler, maybe you play Timberwolf as well, then you play Unleash the Hounds, and you'll have 4/2/1 hounds with charge, which is really strong. Or you can have 5/1/1 hounds with charge. But then for every minion you play, it does 1 random damage.
Right.
So it pings somewhere. So it's super strong.
Awesome.
Especially against Galakron Zoo Warlock. It felt, I just want to say, okay, so this is a really strong list. I haven't given up on Face Hunter. Hopefully these lists will get even stronger once the nerfs go live. I haven't really thought about how that will interact.
Right.
But I just want to let everybody listening know who plays Hearthstone, if you want to have that feeling, that feeling when you're playing a deck, when you win, but you're winning and you feel like this deck cannot fucking lose. Like this deck is OP.
Yeah.
I found the list. This list gives you that.
Nice.
This list will give you that feeling, that satisfying Hearthstone feeling of total.
You're just like, any card you draw is going to do something. Any turn, you'll have an answer. Like, it doesn't matter what your opponent does, you can kind of get...
Because you have Kill Command too, which is so amazing. Kill Command is deal 3 damage for 3, Or if you control a beast, deal 5 damage instead
Whoa.
to any target. So you have a lot of this to any target stuff.
Wow.
And it also runs Dragon Beam, which is a really great legendary 3/5 for 4. After you use your hero power, deal 5 damage to a random enemy.
Okay.
So it's just
So-
super fun, super powerful, super fun.
So for a Magic player, I know I should know this by now, but I'm just like when you're telling me about decks and stuff, I'm visualizing because I can see the gameplay in my head, like I can see it, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a spell that costs 5, you get a mana crystal every turn, right?
Yeah.
You get 1, so you build them up,
Right.
right?
And there's ramp too.
Right. But essentially, if you have 4 and you have a spell that's 4, then you have 0. So then the next turn you only have 1. Like
No,
your mana, like
your
if you
mana
use 4, you
replenishes
use
every
4,
turn.
and then it replenishes back to 1. You just get 1.
No,
every
it
turn.
totally replenishes. So you gain
okay.
you gain an empty mana crystal every turn. So the first turn you start with 1.
Mhm.
Then let's say you use it.
Mhm.
The next turn you'll have 2
Oh, okay.
ready to go,
Okay.
and then
So
every
for
turn you
every
gain
turn
another
you gain,
one,
it keeps
usable,
one up.
and
Okay.
it refills. So then your empty mana crystal stays there.
Okay.
So it starts full, and then you have an empty one
Right.
after you use it, and then at the next turn it replenishes.
Okay.
The power inside of your crystal replenishes,
Okay.
and you can see the power within it,
Okay.
which you don't care about.
Yeah. No. Okay. Cool. Because I was trying to see how the flow of the game would go if it was the way I thought. Because like if you had 1 and then used 1,
Yeah,
and then next turn
you're only
you
gonna have
used
one.
1, so then you would never have any, right? So then you would have to use like 4 when you want to use 4, and then you go back to 0, which doesn't make any sense. So that makes sense more. Okay.
Yeah, and
So
so
they
there's
keep
ramp
right.
too. There's cards that
Right.
give you more mana crystals. There's that actual coin
Mm-hmm.
card where it's a mana crystal.
Right.
But the coin is only good for the turn you use it. That's not ramp.
Right.
Sort of ramp.
That's the
It's in
beginning
the
of the
ramp
game, right?
family.
Beginning of the game.
Beginning of the game, one person starts with the coin. And one person goes first, one person starts with the coin. But there's cards that generate coins too.
One person goes first, one person. That's cool. See, that's what Magic. That's what Magic's missing, is the equal starting on turn 1, because people on the play always have the advantage. 99% of the time, if you get to play your land first and have a spell first, you have the advantage. It's just like simple. There's very slim amount of decks that want to draw, but what you're saying is that one person is given a benefit and one person goes first. So the person who goes first can go first, but the person who didn't has one extra thing.
Right.
Yeah.
They're really all about balance.
That's good. Yeah.
So
Yeah. They'll never. I mean, Magic's been that way for the entire time of the game. So that's not anything that will ever change. But it is a very big consideration when you're playing and you're building decks and stuff. Is playing your drawing, like how to even play your deck. Like if you can play your deck completely different if you end up playing or drawing, certain deck types. So aggressive decks you want to play first, obviously, because you want to start, you want to be on the offensive and you want your opponents to be on defensive. But sometimes if you're playing a defensive deck, maybe you want to draw, but not really, because you want to play spells first. You want to have that one extra land. So anyway, I was just trying to see that.
Certain heroes are known for ramp, like Druid is known for being
That makes sense.
the green,
Yeah.
kind of like
Extra
a
mana,
forest,
yeah.
extra mana, big things,
Right.
ramp it up.
Yep.
And other ones are not good for that. But it always seems that the most aggressive thing is what goes to the top.
Yeah.
So I'm done with combo decks. You know what always gets me is Mechathune always tricks me, because if you're playing against a Mechathune deck, that you have to have it, the win condition is that you have no cards in your deck or.
I love that win condition. I just won. Did you see that? I won with a.
I didn't see it.
I won with a deck that's the win condition with yesterday. I posted it on Twitter.
It always fools me because I'm like, my opponent's running out of cards.
Yeah.
I'm gonna win. I'm so close.
then
I'm
you
one
see it,
turn
and then
away
you
from
see it,
winning.
yeah.
And then I'm like, Oh,
You're like, ah, crud.
shit, I'm dead.
Yeah.
I should, then you're like, I wish I had figured this out sooner because I would have hit face instead of trying to control the board.
Right.
They distract you like that. They distract you with the board.
Mhm.
It's all about that. Board control. Whoever controls the board controls the game.
Yeah, it's true.
Ah.
That's why I run 4 time wipes and 4 planar cleansing. For all you Magic people.
Man, I'm dedicated
Yeah.
to climbing
Yeah.
this month because we're still early in the month.
It's the 8th. It's the 8th.
Oh, it's still early in the
It's the
month.
first week.
Anything's possible.
You're right. I was so close to platinum already, and without getting too far into it, just last night was like the worst.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
What about my plan for you, which was to do the other format?
Oh, yeah, I haven't dove in yet because it's best of 3, and best of 3 matches take a while, and I was more on the like I need to win now like mood, and that's best of 1. But best of 1 is so fast, and I don't know. It's just about deck selection. I'm sure you can attest to that too. Like when you want to play exactly kind of what you're talking about, don't play a combo deck that like is very narrow and like you need certain conditions to win.
Yeah.
If the metagame is like very aggressive and very fast, you're going to be dead on turn 3 or 4 or something. I mean, for Magic anyway. For Hearthstone, maybe a little different. But right now, that's what I'm feeling. Like if I want to play a deck that I designed that's like seems legit, and then I go into the best of 1 queue, I'm dead on turn 3 all the time. Turn 3, turn 4, you're dead. It's like.
Well, but the problem is if you need, I don't know what the thing is. I don't know. Like, is it too late for me to play Face Hunter without? Because now, because D-Man went 17-2.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he must have been at the right time.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, there's matchups too. Like like.
well, because now the counter is Resurrect Priest is the counter for anything aggressive, because it just clears the board, gains life, brings everything back.
Yeah.
I was playing Res Priest last month, and I loved it.
Yeah.
But it takes forever. That's what I hate about those decks. Those games are so long.
I find my best games, my win streaks, are decks that are control based that take a super long time rather than aggressive decks, because maybe it's just I don't know how to play them the right way.
Yet.
Right. Like I'll play small creatures and attack and stuff, and then if the game lasts long enough, by turn 5 or 6, my hand starts to deplenish, there aren't answers in the deck, and then I get run over. But if I'm on the control side of stuff, I let my opponent, you sit and you wait for your opponent to do stuff, and then you take care of it. You wipe the board, you kill their biggest threat, you counterspell their thing that they need out, that kind of stuff. That's more my style. So I think maybe I need to focus more on that than a small, green red deck that can win on turn 3, but if it doesn't get the right draw, you lose. Mm-hmm. And if you're up against a control deck, you lose. Like, so I don't know. It's just like there's so many options with both of our games. There's so many decks you can play. You gotta like settle into one.
That's what I was just thinking.
Just go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm gonna see about that Ziliax. I already invested in this deck, so I'm gonna stick with it for a while, and hope for the best, and then keep my eye on the how the meta's affected by the nerfs, and look for the new cards and see what's happening with that. That's the plan.
Cool.
Could always go back to Res Priest. I have the cards, but I just hate Res Priest. Mm-hmm. It's just such a
yeah. Sometimes you just suck it up.
It's the one deck that I can't beat with Face Hunter. And it always seems to be the deck that is the boss. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I digress. That's gonna wrap up the Hearthstone side. I had a lot of fun. For all the complaining I'm doing, I had a lot of fun this week.
Mm-hmm. That's important.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot more Hearthstone since I downloaded the app on my phone, and it's been great. Ding.
Awesome.
I should should never have put these on the table because all I want to do is
All you
take
want
a
to do is eat them.
big mouthful of these. Would you hate me forever if I did that?
Just
Can I
don't
chew one?
Just don't chew into the microphone.
All right.
So for magic this week, I'm gonna try to.
From my side. I'll put it away from it.
We're gonna do a little bit of Theros Beyond Death spoilers because they are in full swing and we are a week away from pre-release weekends. So I think I'm gonna pre-release on the. Wait, do I work? What do I work this week? I work. Next week. What do I do? I forget. Do I work Friday this week? Yeah. So I have Friday off next week. So I will do the Friday pre-release, the 4:30, the old man time pre-release, 4:30 p.m. on a Friday.
Nice.
Do the pre-release, see the cards, build the deck, buy a box, do that. So
Next
in the meantime,
Friday?
yeah, next Friday. Are you around?
I am around, but it's my dad's birthday dinner. Friday night, 6 p.m., Twin Oaks.
Well, then I guess
I wish I could go.
wish Dad happy birthday,
I will.
and I'll buy him a pack of cards. So I obviously I set this up a little different today, so I can pull up some spoilers so we can both look at them.
Cool.
And yeah, so the set is ramping up to be a really cool one. The mythology behind everything, a lot of gods, a lot of like celestial beings and stuff, which is really cool. And there's some cards coming out that are like, really? Like that kind of stuff? And you're like,
okay.
So what's been happening the past couple days, they've been showing some green cards, and I'm just gonna go to the one that oh, it's not there. Okay, why is it not there? How do we do this? Do we just go to this? And can we search it? Oh, it's right here. This is the card, but it's in a different language. So it's called Destiny Weaver. It was released yesterday. So this card right here is like they're giving green so many things that they don't need to give green. That's been the thing. The past like 2 sets, because of Oko, because of Simic Flash, because of like things green doesn't need more of are things that make their combination with blue better. It's just like, it's an archetype that is like obnoxious to play against, super strong, and it doesn't need more. But they've been releasing some cards. So Destiny Weaver.
Low casting cost.
Low, exactly. First and foremost, the casting cost is 1 colorless and 1 green. And it's a 2/3 creature. And it's an uncommon, so the 3 things, it's an uncommon for 2, and it's a 2/3 in green. And it's an enchantment creature, so it's both an enchantment and a creature. So if you can search your library for an enchantment, you can grab that as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's kind of the theme of the set, is that a lot of these creatures are enchantments, so they're like ethereal, you know, they're like both enchantments and creatures. And sometimes they are one and not the other, so there's a lot of play with the enchantment theme. So she reads, it's just this one line, it just like defines the card. Creature and enchantment spells you control can't be countered. Whew. Yo, fuck you. I don't swear on this podcast, but that's going to be the most annoying card to play against, and it's uncommon. So this is easy to get. It's not legendary, so you can have 4 of them in your deck. I mean, you can have 4 of them in play, which doesn't really matter. I mean, if you have 4 in play, whatever. You have 1 in play. That means any of the creatures that you play against blue can't be countered, or enchantments can't be countered.
But you can burn it before it resolves.
You can burn it, sure. You can get rid of it. It's easy to get rid of. It's a 2/3, so it can't be shocked, but it can be Scorching Dragon Fired, which is a new spell that does 3 damage, and it exiles the creature instead. And then let's just throw on a crazy ability because that one ability wasn't enough for an uncommon. So it says for 3 colors and a green and no tap, so you can activate this multiple times. Okay. So if you have 8 mana available and you want to sink it, go for it. Target land you control becomes an XX elemental creature with haste and trample until end of turn, where X is the number of enchantments you control and it's still land. So this card is going to go into an Enchantress style deck, which means green, white, maybe green, blue. It's going to be in a shell that plays a lot of small enchantments. It's going to be, and creatures and enchantment spells you control can't be countered. So you can get your stuff into play once she's in play. Because it can't be.
But wait a minute, but you control it. You don't control it until it resolves, though, right? An enchantment?
It has to be out in play. Yeah.
So.
But it's going to be in play.
But they can still counter it because you don't. Okay, so let's say she's in play.
Yep.
And then you want to play an enchantment.
Yep.
You don't control the enchantment. Do you control the enchantment before it resolves?
Because it's a spell. So it says creature and enchantment spells you control. So when they're in your hand, they're a spell.
Okay.
So you control it. Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
So that's going to, anything that you play, creature enchantment, is going to come into play. It can get removed once it's in play, but it can't be countered. So it's always going to come into play. And then you just turn a land into say you have 5 enchantments. So for 4 mana, you can get a 5/5 haste trample creature. Just smash in, right?
That's amazing. Your TV keeps blinking different colors.
So I got these. Rachel got me these awesome LED lights that go behind my TV, and if there's music on, they go to the beat and like the sound and stuff, and they change color. It's really awesome. So yeah, they're on the music setting right now. So, but if they pick up just a little bit of vibration wherever they go to, so yeah, that's what that's all about.
Cool, very cool. Blue, red, green, purple.
All right, and then so our next card. So green got that. That's wonderful. Green gets a card that makes green even more.
Merfolk Wizard.
Merfolk Wizard. Yeah, you want to see this one?
Yeah.
All right, Merfolk Wizard. This is Thassa's Oracle. It's 2 blue. It's a 1/3 creature, Merfolk Wizard. When Thassa's Oracle enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is your devotion to blue. So remember, devotion is the amount of mana symbols that are in play on cards you control.
Oh, okay.
So if there's 7 blue mana symbols on cards, then you look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put up to 1 of them on top of your library and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If X is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library, you win the game. So this is like a crazy alternate win condition. Mill yourself a whole bunch, get a whole bunch of devotion
for
to
2 mana.
It's a little bit of a setup. There's
X
definitely
is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library, you win the game.
So I would play this in. I would play this.
The token thing?
In the.
Risen Reef?
No. The Magic Mirror. The Magic
Mono. Yeah.
So this would go great in mono blue Magic Mirror because Magic Mirror has 3 blue symbols on it. Jace the Mind Sculptor has 3 blue symbols on it. So your devotion to blue would be 6 right away. So basically, with Magic Mirror, you keep drawing cards and you have no hand size, no limit to your hand size. So you can have a whole bunch of things in your hand. And then basically what you would do, protect Jace, protect the Magic Mirror, draw a bunch of cards. And then once your devotion reaches more than however many cards you have in your library, let's say that's the win condition. You have your devotion to blue is 6.
Okay.
And then you have 5 cards in your library. So 7. So to speak, 7. So X is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library. So if there's 6 cards in your library and you have devotion to 6, you win the game.
Wow.
And that's kind of an easy setup. Also, you have Gadwick. Gadwick is a new a wizard from Throne of Eldraine. Has 3 blue in its casting cost as well. So you can with those 3 cards, your devotion can be 9.
Wow. So
you can have 9 cards in the library. So that's really like ramping up how much devotion you have. So Thassa's Oracle is really cool. I think.
Sounds amazing.
So and also this if you don't in the last part, if the win condition thing doesn't happen, it's still really good because if your devotion to blue is 9 and you cast that early or mid game, you get to look at the top 9 cards in your library, pick one, put it on top, and then put all the ones you don't need on the bottom.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah, that's like
That's the first thing.
That's the first thing. So, it sets you. It sets up your combo. So that's a really cool. I'm definitely gonna play with that card. I'm definitely gonna try to make that
That'd
happen.
be day one for me.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Fast as Oracle. It's a 1/3 creature. When it comes to the battlefield, you look at the top X cards of your library, where X is Devotion of Blue. Put up one of them on the top of your library, and the rest on the bottom. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. So Fast as Oracle, Merfolk Wizard. This was cool. So they released a whole bunch of giants. I want to go over the giants because they looked. Yeah. This this is ridiculous. All right. Croxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. I'm like, all right. It's 1 black and 1 red, and it's a 6/6 legendary creature, Elder Giant. When Croxa enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. So to go over what escape is, it's a returning mechanic, I believe, from the Theros plane that basically you pay an amount of mana, and then you have to exile cards from your graveyard, and then it comes back into play. So what escape does is bring something back from the graveyard to play, but for a very high cost. You have to get rid of cards in your graveyard, pay mana, and then it comes back. Okay. So the only way, not the only way, but the way to get this into play and have it stay is you play it, it comes into play, and then it says when it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. So the way to keep it in play is it escapes. So it comes into play and then it goes away. It goes into your graveyard. So it's like, and then the second line, it has this enter the battlefield ability. Mm-hmm. So when you play them, you do get a benefit before they actually get sacrificed. So it says whenever Croxa enters the battlefield or attacks, so that's a stipulation, each opponent discards a card, then each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life. So it comes into play.
Okay.
You pay 2 mana, you have a 6/6 enter the battlefield.
Okay.
And then its trigger goes on the stack, which is whenever it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. And then the second part of the trigger comes on the stack, says when it enters the battlefield, because it happens, it comes into the battlefield. All these things happen in timing.
Yeah.
When it enters the battlefield or attacks, each opponent discards a card. Okay, comes into play, you discard a card. Crap.
I pick which one?
Yep, you discard a card. Okay. But each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card, if you didn't
have a non-land card.
If you didn't discard a non-land card.
Each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life. So you would have to have a handful of land to avoid the 3 life.
Yep. So you're like, okay.
So you 3 life most likely.
So you're put pressure on with that because you're like, oh, if I discard a non-land card. If I discard a land card, I take 3. And you're like, okay, so if I discard a card that I need to play, I lose out on that card I need to play. So either way, you win. You take 3. So for 2 mana, you get rid of an opponent's card, or you get 3 life and a card. You get 2 things. If they discard a land card, okay, they take 3 and they discard the land. If they discard like a card they need to play, that's even better, but they don't take 3. Big deal. Okay, and then boom. So it comes into play, the trigger happens, you have to do the thing, okay, I discard the thing, take 3, then it goes into the graveyard. Okay. And then, when you can pay 4, 2 black, 2 red, exile 5 other cards from your graveyard, it escapes, and that means it comes back, you cast it from your graveyard. So the thing is, it's a stipulation you may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. So there are cards like Fires of Invention, which is a very popular enchantment right now, that lets you cast spells for the amount of lands that you have in play, but you can only cast 2 of them. But you don't have to tap them. So if you have 10 land in play, right, you can cast 2 spells that cost 10 each. Say you have whatever, right? I'm just using those numbers.
Before tapping and then after tapping.
You don't have to tap them. If you have 10 lands in play, so 10 is your number. So if you can only play 2 spells. And if you say there are 2 spells in your hand that cost 10, you could play both of them. You don't have to tap any mana, which is great because that deck sets up cards that have activated abilities. So like once those 2 things come into play, then you can use your mana to activate things on your guys. So you have this huge mana advantage. So people are already talking about the fact that escape works with Fires of Invention. So its escape cost is the 4, but with Fires of Invention you don't have to pay mana. So if you have 4 lands in play, just 4, and then you have 5 cards from your graveyard, all you would have to do is exile 5 cards from your graveyard and have that come into play, which is like, oh shit. So essentially you could, on turn 4, if you had 5 cards in your graveyard, you probably won't, but for argument's sake, you have 5 cards in your graveyard and you're playing the Fires of Invention deck, you can play this as your first spell in a turn if you had 4 lands out, right? Which you will, because you'll have Fires of Invention on turn 4. They always have it. It's inevitable. They always have Fires of Invention on turn 4. So on it would be turn 5 because you can only cast 1 more spell. You could turn 5, play your land. You'll have 5 lands in play. Your first spell of the turn, because this only costs 2, cast Kroxa, comes into play. It does the thing, goes to the graveyard. Then if you have 5 cards in your graveyard, you can cast it again. Because you have 5 lands, you don't have to pay the mana cost. Just exile 5 cards, then it comes into play, and then it's there forever. And then that ability, it says whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, and that's huge. So every time it attacks, your opponent has to discard a card, which is like super powerful.
Discards a card. Yeah.
And it's a 6/6. I mean, it's like all these things. Every time it attacks, you have to discard a card. And if you don't discard,
if you don't discard a land,
you're taking
3 life.
3, yeah.
And you don't want to get rid of lands. You need your lands.
Right. So that's a good Magic card. Wow. That's a mythic.
It's only for 2.
Yeah. So I immediately thought of like ways of cheating it into play. Like how do you get this card into play without having it to go to the graveyard and come in first? And there's this card called Hushbringer that says, actually, I'll show you what it says. I'll see if you can. Let's see if you can put the combo together here. It's going to be really difficult, let me tell you.
Okay, this reminded me of Miracle Rogue, the one where you are exiling cards. Where you're getting rid of cards. Anyway, it's like Miracle Rogue.
Okay. So.
Oh, I remember that card. People didn't like that art, but I love that art.
It's interesting art. So let's see if you can figure out how this super complicated combo works. It's not complicated at all. All right. So
lifelink. Creatures entering the battlefield or dying don't cause abilities to trigger.
What? So when this enters the battlefield.
Nothing. It's just going to stay on the field.
Right, exactly. The second part won't happen either because
the discard take 3.
Right, so that won't happen. But the trigger of sacrificing it doesn't happen. So if you have,
it's a 6/6 for 2.
It's a 6/6 for 2. But you're playing Mardu, so you'd be playing white, black, red. But who cares? I mean, if you can
pull that off.
If you can have a Hushbringer on turn 2 and then a Kroxa on turn 3. Okay, good game.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So there's more of these giants. So that's the black red.
Wait, what was the name of that fairy?
Hushbringer.
Yeah. And then what's the name of the other card?
Kroxa. Kroxa.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So that's great. I saw this card. So they brought back sagas. Sagas came out in Dominaria, and they're an enchantment that have 3 stages.
That looks very complicated.
They are intimidating to new Magic players and people that
Verse,
acquainted with them.
Yeah.
But what they are is essentially they're an enchantment that stays on the board, and every upkeep does something different. And usually the last one is like a big thing. I love this card. So it's a mythic. It costs 5 colors and 2 blue. So of course it's huge and nobody's going to play it, but I'm going to try anyway. It's called Kiora Bests the Sea God. So essentially what sagas are in Magic lore are like things that happened. They're like stories. Okay. So they usually are like a scroll, or like they're like a cool point of like telling the Magic story on a card. So Kiora is one of the planeswalkers in Magic, and then there's a sea god. So this is the story of Kiora besting the sea god. So for 7 mana, when it enters the battlefield, you do step 1. And step 1 is create an 8/8 blue Kraken creature with hexproof. So you got an 8/8 for 7 with hexproof, which means it can't be targeted. Okay, that's good. Then you get to your next turn. And then right in the beginning of upkeep, tap all non-land permanents target opponent controls. They don't untap during their controller's next untap step. So turn 2 during your upkeep, boom, everything taps. And you're like,
and they have a lot of stuff out by turn.
Right.
By turn 7.
Everything taps. Lands don't tap, which is oh whoa, look at the weather.
Holy shit!
Whoa, that's crazy. It was sunny like 20 minutes ago. Now it's snow squalling right now.
Should we video?
Whoa,
Should we take the video camera there?
Nah.
No?
Nah.
Trust us.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end we'll show you.
I think you probably you saw the change in the sunlight coming into the room. That's wild. Okay, so
there's a squall right now.
There's a squall. That's so weird. Chapter 2, all your things tap. Things meaning non-land things. So your lands are still going to be untapped. I wish it did lands. Oh, that'd be so sick. And then Chapter 3, gain control of target permanent and opponent controls. Untap it. So because everything
that is fun.
Because everything is tapped.
Yeah.
It's going to stay tapped for their next turn, and then on turn 3 of the saga, you get to grab something of your opponent's, and then it untaps, and then you can either use it. It would have summoning sickness because that's how the rules work.
This is gonna have a cool animation.
Yeah, it definitely will. When it comes out, it definitely will because it's mythic and it's like it's a saga. All the sagas have like a cool like enter the battlefield thing. So for every on the 3rd one, like the ultimate of it, on the 3rd one, it'll definitely have like a cool thing.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so that's just so there's things in Magic called like Timmy cards. Like it's just like I don't want to call it derogatory, but it's like kind of like you could come up with a different way to divide the kinds of players. And like a Timmy is like the little kid who just wants to play things like this. Like they'll spend.
There's a Timmy in all of us.
There is a Timmy in all of us. That's gonna be the title of the episode. It's literally like the way to call like somebody who wants to play huge creatures that really like you're never gonna cast them, but you try really hard, right? So that's like a Timmy card, but I love those Timmy cards. There's a Timmy in all of us.
There's a way to make it.
There's a way to make it work.
Yeah, there's a way to make it work.
This will probably go in a green-blue shell where you ramp out mana, and you can have that out in like turn 4, and
that'd be amazing.
Because you got Nissa, you got growth spirals, you have mana dorks that like you'll ramp, and then I'm sure of it. I'll make it happen. So that's another one of my favorites. I can't wait to see like actually play.
Yeah.
Okay, and as we were talking about green getting all the good stuff that make green and blue better.
Is an avatar character in Magic?
The blue one?
Yeah, the blue guy.
I'm going to get to that one. That's one of my favorites. So, Dryad of the Elysian Grove. It's 2 colorless and 1 green. It's an enchantment creature, Nymph. It's a 2/4 and it's rare. And I was just talking about ramp. First thing on Dryad of Elysian Grove says, you may play an additional land on each of your turns. Great. So you can play 2 lands a turn. Amazing.
Okay.
Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types.
What?
It turns all of your lands into cities of brass.
Wait a sec. Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types for 3. In a 2/4.
Yep.
That's awesome.
That turns all your lands into you can play a 5-color deck with base green to make this happen.
He's got the universe within him.
Definitely, that artwork is cool. That's just cool. I mean, the playing 2 lands a turn is always good. I mean, the ramp is ramp, right? You just if you're gonna have that shell, you want to have extra lands, and then you can play whatever in your deck, and you have. So lands you control. So even if you have a land that doesn't even tap for mana, it then it's all like once that's out, then it can. Like if it's colorless, it becomes like all of the colors.
Oh.
So
oh.
yeah. So if you have a land, I'd say that you have a land that's like
there's lands that cost 0.
lands you
There's,
control
like,
are every basic land type,
Artifact
which is-
lands.
Yeah, like the Mishra's factories and stuff, like all the old stuff. Yeah, there. So anyway, that's right there. That's a clue that green is getting goodies.
That's a cool card.
So another one of the giants that I really like. So I really like. So as much as I complain about green blue, it's a really fun color combination to play. I don't really play Simic Flash all that often. Maybe about a month ago, I was playing it and I ranked up, and sure, it's a great deck. I don't really like playing it that much because it's boring, because it's simple. You counter your opponent's stuff and then you play big creatures and they can't deal with it, and boom, you win. Great. It's a good competitive deck. But on the other side of it, if you build shells around like ramping things and playing big stuff and generating value, that's why I like drawing cards and I like having big creatures.
Cool.
Timmy and all of us, right?
Yeah.
So Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. It's a 6/6, so this is another one of the giants. It's an Elder Giant legendary creature. It costs 1 colorless, a green and a blue. So this is the same concept as Croxa that we're just talking about. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escapes. So it comes into play, and then boom, the second thing. Whenever it enters, this is so ridiculous. When it comes into the battlefield or attacks, you gain 3 life, draw a card, and then you can put a land card from your hand into the battlefield. So for 3 mana, you draw a card, you gain 3 life, and then if you have a land card in your hand, you can put it onto the battlefield, so you can ramp.
Wow.
That is good.
And it has escape.
And then the escape cost is double green, double blue, exile 5 other cards, and then it comes to play.
Wow.
Now, that's more likely to have play on an early turn with green blue, because with green blue you have spells like Growth Spiral and Opt, which are instants that you're going to cast to try to draw your stuff and ramp up, and then they're going to go in your graveyard, so you can fill your graveyard kind of quickly that way. Maybe if you're playing counter spells too, like any instant that you're going to play early game will feed your graveyard, so you can have this on turn 4 or 5, because the casting cost is 3, but the escape is 4. But by turn 4 or 5 with green blue in the right shell, you could have 5 cards in your graveyard and have that come out on turn 4.
I'm wondering if any of the black cards have super powerful escape thing going on, because isn't that like a black thing?
Yeah. It's like
Playing
graveyard
things
stuff.
from your graveyard.
Yep. So Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath is another great Elder Giant. Let's look at a black card and see if there's anything. Oh, let me go over Thrix the Sudden Storm, because this was like this.
Whoa.
So Thrix the Sudden Storm is a rare.
Cool art.
A rare 4/5 flash flying creature that costs 3 colorless and 2 blue. So again, it's in blue, so that means it's in blue-green, and that means it can come out on turn 4. Like anything that costs 5 in blue or in blue-green costs 4, because you always have an extra land.
All right.
So you're going to have a 4/5 flash flying on turn 4, always. And then, just to make it even better, spells you cast with converted mana cost 5 or greater cost 1 less to cast, and they can't be countered.
What?
Okay, great. So
Wow.
now you build a green-blue deck you max out at 5, you max out your curve at 5, which is Nissa, the Planeswalker, who turns your lands into creatures and also doubles your mana. Your forests tap for 2 green rather than just 1 green. So now Nissa can't be countered, and it costs 4, and that's good enough. Like that, you can get your Planeswalker out, and it can't be countered. You turn your lands on, and then you just go face, boom, boom, boom.
Wow.
So at the end of turn 4, you get to flash this in. Turn 5, you get to play Nissa without any worry of it being countered for 1 less, and then you get to attack, and then probably make a big Hydrate Crisis or something, draw some cards. So
Flashes, you can play it as an instant.
yeah, yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's no reason that card shouldn't be in.
An instant, you can play it anytime.
So sort of Simic, and now it's sunny again.
Wow.
We just had like a random snow squall just run through, and now it's sunny again.
Probably 5 accidents.
So, yeah.
10 people died in the last 10 minutes.
Okay, so let's look at it. Let's see if there's any black things that have escape that we can look at. There's this set is shaping out. There's a lot of cards here, and we're not. I'm big on not big on spoilers, but I'm more excited about this set than I have been any other sets because it's new for me.
It's amazing.
And
The power level is high, very high. The art level is very high.
Here's a cool, like what we were just saying. So Timeret, chosen from death. So the demigod cycle in this set are uncommons. So there's gods, there's giants, and there's demigods.
Okay.
The gods are all rare or mythic. The demigods are uncommon.
Oh,
which is pretty
interesting.
Pretty cool. Timeret, chosen from death, costs 2 black. It's a legendary enchantment creature, demigod. It's uncommon. Timeret's toughness is equal to your devotion to black. So again, if you have 5 pips out on the battlefield, it's a 2/5 creature, and so on and so on. And then its activated ability, 1 black and 1 colorless, exile up to 2 target cards from graveyards. You gain 1 life for every creature exiled this way. So he eats dead creatures, and you gain life.
Cool.
All right, one of those kind of thing. Let's see. Drag to the Underworld. That's a limited card if I've ever seen one. Now we went over these guys. I think there was a.
They must have a huge team that works on these cards.
I know, it's wild, huh?
Oh my god. They're constantly doing stuff, huh? Constantly building.
Oh god, this is awesome. I can't wait to abuse this card. I really can't. Treacherous Blessing. 2 colors, 1 black enchantment. It's rare. When Treacherous Blessing enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. Okay.
Okay.
Whenever you cast a spell, you lose 1 life. Okay. When Treacherous Blessing becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. Okay, so that's drawback. If somebody has Disenchant, if somebody has anything that targets and it just goes away. Okay, well,
you still drew 3 cards.
Exactly. There's for 3 mana, you draw 3 cards. Okay. Whenever you cast a spell, lose 1 life. When treasure. So there's.
You can make it. You could target yourself.
You can just get it. So this is going to go into a shell around Doom Foretold. It's the enchantment from it. Throne of Eldraine. It costs 2 colorless. Actually, here we're on Scryfall, so I might as well just try to pull it up. Why's my mouse being so? Where are you? There you go. Doom Foretold. Oh, come on. Oh, it's 4 F-O-R-E. There it is. So Doom Foretold is a 2 colorless, 1 white, 1 red, 1 black. It's an enchantment, and it says at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a non-land, non-token permanent. So during my turn, at the beginning of my turn, the beginning of your turn, we have to. So when you play it, you're not affected. The player who plays it isn't affected by it. But then when it's your turn, right at the beginning of upkeep, this triggers, and it says you must sacrifice a non-land, non-token permanent. So if you have any one permanent out, that becomes the thing you have to sacrifice, which is really strong. Then the second part of it says if that player can't, so if you as the opponent can't do that, nothing on board, you have to discard a card, you lose 2 life, and then I draw a card, gain 2 life, and create a 2/2 white knight token.
Wow.
And then with vigilance, and then Doom Foretold goes away. So that's like the payoff for having nothing on your opponent's side. So the easy combo there, Doom Foretold and Treacherous Blessing. It gets rid of Treacherous Blessing. So you play Treacherous Blessing, cool, boom. Treacherous Blessing obviously on turn 3 because you want to draw 3 cards. And then play a Doom Foretold and then sacrifice that to Doom Foretold because that's a permanent. So you draw 3 for 3 and then you get rid of it.
Wow.
Boom. Great.
Very strong.
Very strong. I really like this like celestial hand coming out to this person. Like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, So yeah, so there's a few spoilers there. There's nothing in black that came out today or yesterday, because they released 14 cards yesterday. Another cool one here is Eidolon of Obstruction. It's a rare, costs 1 colorless, 1 white, enchantment creature spirit. It's a 2/1, first strike. Loyalty abilities of planeswalkers your opponents control cost 1 colorless more to activate. So that puts the brakes on powerful planeswalkers, because usually when you activate a planeswalker, you just activate it. There's no cost, you just do it. But this guy makes it actually cost 1, so that kind of puts a little bit of pressure on people playing planeswalkers. So white typically and historically always gets the shaft, like always. There's never like a super really good anything in white, which is a bummer.
Even with this set.
But I'm gonna say this set does have a couple promising white cards. Here's another one. Taranika, a Crowan veteran, 1 colorless, 2 white. It's a legendary creature, human soldier. It's a rare card. It's a 3/3 for 3. It has vigilance. And then whenever Taranika, a Crowan's veteran, attacks, you get to untap another target creature you control. Until end of turn, that creature has base power and toughness 4/4 and gains indestructible. And then it has all of the other things that the creature might have. There's a creature called Swiftblade Vindicator, which is it costs 1 red and 1 white. It's a 1/1 creature with double strike, vigilance, and trample, I believe. Wait, I'm on the website here that has
Vindicator.
Swiftblade. Yeah, let's see. Here you go. Here. Yes, I was right. So it's Swiftblade Vindicator. It's a 1/1 for 2, a red and a white. Double strike, vigilance, and trample. So the Crowan, what's his face, can give it a base toughness of 4/4 and gains indestructible. So that card becomes a 4/4. It has vigilance, so you can untap something that's already untapped, in case anybody's unfamiliar with the rules. Like if you can target that with a creature that you already planned on attacking with, so it doesn't have to be tapped to untap it. So you can just choose a creature that this guy will help become a 4/4 and become indestructible. So the combo there is the fact that you have a 1/1 creature that has double strike, vigilance, and trample. You turned it into a 4/4 that now has double strike, vigilance, trample, and indestructible. That thing's going to just beat over everything. Double strike is an ability where it will do combat damage first to anything that blocks it, and then do it again. It'll do regular combat damage. When something has double strike and trample, if somebody blocks that with say it's the 4/4 version, somebody blocks it with a 1/1, it'll deal 1 damage to kill it, and then because it has trample, it'll deal the 3 extra to you, and then it'll do regular combat damage. It'll do another 4 to you.
Wow.
So you're gonna do 5 damage or 7 damage with 1 creature.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's gonna be scary. I feel like red-white might come back, the Boros color combination. It's a legendary creature for 3, so white, yeah, kind of gets a shaft every once in a while, but in this set, white is a real big like flavor importance. You know, white being very like noble and like Elspeth is one of the main Planeswalker characters, and she's white. So white is probably going to get a little boosted power. It's going to have a little cooler things happening, but people are always just like, white's the worst. And you know, they're not right. I mean, look at this. Look at all of this, and there's like 2 white mana symbols, but they're in correlation with 2 reds. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So we're looking at the screen here of just some of the things that were spoiled on Monday, and there's literally 1 white card, 2 white cards. There was 2 white cards spoiled. One's a rare, one's an uncommon, and then everything else is just like these crazy gods and stuff. Annex hardened in the forge. Oh yeah, so you see the artwork is cool. Oh, they're coming out with lands that are going to be in these like starter decks and stuff for Theros Beyond Death. The lands look so sick. They're like, they look like this. They're all celestial and like have this like
Oh my
aura
God.
around them, but they just have the mana symbol.
Yeah.
Like a full art land, right? Like like the plains.
Yeah.
And it just has the mana symbol in the middle, but like that kind of artwork.
Oh boy.
But they're only going to be available in like collector sets and like these weird starter decks. So like the brawl decks, they're going to be worth more money than they are. So keep a lookout for those, because if you want full play sets of those lands, you're going to have to really, you know, work for them or just trade for them. I'm sure they're going to be worth something, especially foil versions. I wonder if they released the lands, if they're in the spoilers here. And just give me a second. Sorry for putting you through the scrolling, but oh, there's the temples.
Tharos land.
Theros Beyond Deathlands. Ah, there they are. Boom! Look at them.
Wow.
Look at those things. Oh my god. Those are like probably the coolest lands I've ever seen in Magic.
My mouth is watering.
Right? This was their first spoiler back in December 11th. Yeah, those, I mean, full art, the celestial symbol, and then like the
So
aura around them. So I cannot wait to own those. All right, so those are some Theros Beyond Death spoilers. Let me know what you think if you're into any of those. This week in Magic for me on the arena, I mentioned earlier, but I got to like gold 1, and then last night I got to gold 4, which means I went backwards 3 levels, because Magic is at a place where games end on 3 turns. Games end on turn 4. If people are playing decks that are aggressive enough and you don't have answers, you're dead on turn 3, 4, 5.
Ugh.
And that's what I've been going up against. I mean, that's what I've been playing in the ranked ladder on best of 1. And people are just, I mean, the way to win in best of 1 is play aggressive decks, because it's a one-shot thing. You're like, all right, what's the quickest and easiest way to level up? Okay, play things that are really aggressive and don't give your opponent time to do anything.
Yeah.
I like to play decks that actually do something. I like to play with my Magic cards, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what happened. I was trying different. I was like, all right, that's frustrating. Let me try a different deck. Let me get a little bit more aggressive. My matchups are bad, whatever. But anyway, I built a couple decks that that happen to. I'm gonna have to log in here. Sorry, everybody. I built some decks that I wanted to play with to just see if my deck building abilities were.
Keep them sharp.
Yeah. Oh, my win-loss ratio went to 49%. Oh, that's sad. It was hovering at 50% for so long. I'm officially a loser.
No.
Yep,
Stop,
I'm officially a
Rich.
loser.
Rich G. You stop that.
I am officially a loser. Oh, that sucks. All right, so I developed this deck called Bring It Back Black.
I was playing Cyclone Mage, and I had the same problem. It just wasn't aggressive enough.
Yeah.
It took too long to set up the combos and get the giants out, because the giants, you get cheaper if there's minions on board or cards in your hand.
Right.
And then by the time I got my things out, once they're out, then you combo with another card to make more stuff.
Yeah, it's too late, right?
It's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with these 2 decks I'm going to go over, they are a little bit more like aggressive. I would say, yeah, they're aggressive. They're quick. They're small things that work in conjunction with one another. So this black deck, it revolves around Witch's Oven and Cauldron Familiar, which everybody is familiar with at this point. You sacrifice your Cauldron Familiar, you get a food token, you bring your Cauldron Familiar back. The thing never dies, and it always comes back. It can block. It's super hard to deal with, because in response to getting it killed, you can sacrifice it, and the kill spell fizzles. So there's a lot that does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I decided that I was like, all right, let me build a deck with creatures that cost 1, 2, and 3 only, and all of those creatures do something when they either enter the battlefield or when they're in play. So there's 4 Cauldron Familiars, 4 Witches' Ovens at the 1 slot. At the 2 slot, there's 4 Burglar Rats and 4 Yarok's Fenlurker. So Burglar Rat is a 1/1 creature that when it comes into play, your opponent has to discard a card. So it's a creature and a discard spell. Yarok's Fenlurker, same exact thing when it comes into play, but your opponent has to exile a card from their hand, so it's a little bit better. It doesn't come back. and Yarg's Fenlurker, you can pump it for 3 mana. It can get +1/+1 until end of turn. So it really doesn't come into play too much because you don't really get. You hope to not get to the point where you're pumping extra mana into that. You want to be doing something else. 3 Ayara, First of Locthwain. So for 3 black mana, it's a legendary creature. When she comes into play, your opponent takes 1, you gain 1.
Okay.
It's a 2/3 creature, and then it also says whenever a black creature enters the battlefield, your opponent loses 1 and you gain 1. So that's great. When you play a black creature, your opponent takes 1, gain 1. And then her activated ability, tap it, sacrifice another black creature, you get to draw a card. So you can, if there's a creature that's going to die, you might as well just sacrifice it anyway, draw a card. 4 Midnight Reapers. It's the 3/2 creature for 2 colors and 1 black. And it says, whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Midnight Reaper deals a damage to you when you draw a card. There's so many synergies within this deck of sacrificing your own creatures to Witch's Oven, which would trigger the Midnight Reaper, which means that you draw a card. You still take damage, but draw a card. The best way to use it is Midnight Reaper and Cauldron Familiar and Witch's Oven. So if you had a Midnight Reaper out and you have a Cauldron Familiar and a Witch's Oven out, whenever you sacrifice your cat to the oven, you would take a damage, draw a card from the Midnight Reaper, then you can just bring back the cat because it created the food token, and the way you bring it back is sacrificing the food token from the graveyard.
Okay.
You bring it back and it comes into play. So essentially you're drawing 1 card for free by sacrificing it and bringing your dude back. And then whenever the Cauldron Familiar comes into play, your opponent takes 1 and you gain 1. So there's just this loop of it's like a perfect loop. You draw a card for free and your opponent loses a life. Cool. Nice. 4 Murderous Riders just for some removal. That's the Swift End Adventure. Destroy target creature or planeswalker, you lose 2 life, and then it's a 2/3 for 3 that has lifelink, and if it dies, it goes in the bottom of the library. 4 Plague Crafters. It's a creature that costs 2 colors and black. It's a 3/2, and when it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Each player who can't discards a card. So that means you. So if you have like a Cauldron Familiar out and then you play that, you sacrifice Cauldron Familiar, then you have a 3/2, and then your opponent still needs to sacrifice a creature or planeswalker. And if they don't have anything on the battlefield, that means they have to discard a card. So that has value in it throughout.
It looks like that Marvel, the DC character, Doom.
Dr. Doom?
Dr. Doom, yeah.
It did look like Dr. Doom. So that's, and then the last part of the deck at the 5 slot, there's 3 Gruesome Menageries. I've always wanted to make this card work, and this was my attempt at it. And Gruesome Menagerie is a sorcery that costs 3 colors and 2 black. And then it says, choose a creature card with converted mana cost 1 in your graveyard. Then do the same for creature cards with converted mana cost 2 and 3. Return those cards to the battlefield. So, should be simple. Everything in here costs 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
If there's any cards in your graveyard, if there's a Cauldron Familiar, a Burglar Rat, and an Ayara First of Locthwain in your graveyard, you bring them all back to play, all of their enter the battlefield abilities trigger, and then you have a battlefield full of dudes.
Did it work?
And they all work, right?
Did it work?
So I played a standard event, which is like not ladder.
Yeah.
I went 7-1. I was like,
wow.
What? Whoa, awesome. Like, great. Then I played another one, I went 6-2. I was like, all right, this deck is, this is the tits.
This
right?
is it. We got it.
Got it. Go to the ladder. No, not at all. Like, completely night and day. Can't win a match. Can't keep one thing in play. Can't, I mean, I've adjusted the mana base on this like 5 different times because I wish I had all this on video, because I feel like when I talk about my bad luck, quote unquote, it's like I'm just complaining.
But you went from winning almost 100% winning to...
Exactly. But when I say like I drew 7 lands in a row, I'm not exaggerating. There's times where I literally draw 7 lands in a row in a deck that ran 22 lands. So if you're drawing a third of your lands in the first like 15 cards, you're just like, you're getting RNG'd, right? Isn't that like what they say? Like that.
Get man screwed.
Get man screwed. It's happened so many different times now with this deck where I'll draw the worst combination of things where I can't set up anything. Like I won't find a Witch's Oven. I won't find a Cauldron Familiar. I'll have a plague crafter, but I won't have another creature to sacrifice to it, so it has to sacrifice.
Yeah, minion screwed.
I'm getting minion screwed. So I tried it a couple times. It won a couple times, but granted, like the matchup, my opponent just had a bad deck, and I was able to actually make the deck work. And then there were times where like I thought I had it, and then I draw land. So there was a point where I had a Murderous Rider, two Midnight Reapers out, and what? Why did I do this? That was a bad pop up.
You just won a contest. It said, congratulations.
I thought I had ad block on here. Anyway, so I had the two Midnight Reapers out. So when one creature dies, you would take 2 damage and draw 2 cards. So I had 3 creatures die, which means I draw 6 cards. I drew 5 lands and 1 like DP. I drew and a Conjure Familiar. So like, you draw 6 cards and you draw 5. I was like,
that's insane.
I was like looking around. I was like, here I am again, like with that whole like drawing all these lands, and that's why I'm losing. I'm like, these decks like work when they work, but then when they don't, they don't. It's part of the game. All right, cool. It happens, but it's very frustrating when you go 7-1, 6-2, and then you go 0-0-0-0-0. You know, because like you're drawing stuff. So I'm gonna I'll put the deck in the show notes. Have fun with it. It's definitely
take it to a standard event.
Take it to a standard event. Check it out, because I mean
you'll win.
I had results. I mean, I didn't get lucky. I mean, it's like it's not some combo deck where like your opponent can just stop it. If you know, it's just there's a lot of creatures that do things. Then the other deck I was playing, which I thought of at work, and I was like, all right, how can I do? And I was like thinking of these things. It was like a slower night at work, and that's what I do. I was like, how can I make adventures fit into blue-green? I'm like, how can I abuse Lucky Clover? How can I abuse Lucky Clover and adventures? How can I do it? And I'm like, I'm in my head, I'm just like, okay, there's these creatures, blue, okay. So this is what I came up with, and it's a lot of fun. I won like 3 games, but let me see, what did I win here? I went 1-6.
That was an early win though.
0-2, 0-1, and then 8-16. It's not a good deck, but it's fun to play.
We got some adventure.
So what this is just blue-green adventures and Lucky Clovers. So we've got 4 Merfolk Secret Keepers. My most hated card in Throne of Eldraine Draft, because it's the creature, it's the 1 blue that has the adventure on it. The target player puts the top 4 cards of the library into the graveyard, so you can mill your opponent for 4, and then for 1 blue it's a 0/4 creature. In conjunction with Lucky Clover, you get to do that. You get to copy that adventure spell, so you can mill your opponent for 8 or whatever it is. It's a lot. So we'll just run through. So 4 Merfolk Secret Keepers, 4 Unsummons, which is to either return pesky creatures that your opponent's control, or when you have Merfolk Secret Keeper out, you can return it back to your hand and then play the adventure again, so you can keep milling your opponent and knowing your opponent. 4 Edgewall Innkeepers, a staple of any adventure deck. It's the 1/1 that whenever you cast a creature spell that has an adventure, you draw a card. So that's your card drawing engine. 4 Fae of Wishes, which is the 1/4 for 2 that flies, and it's got an adventure on it called Granted, and it's for 3 colors and 1 blue. You may choose a non-creature card you own from outside the game, which means your sideboard, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So you build a sideboard with a whole bunch of like value things that you need at certain moments, and then you can grab them and then play them the next turn. I'll go over the sideboard in a minute, but there's 4 of those. So if you have, so there's 4 Lucky Clovers in the deck, obviously. So if you have 2 Lucky Clovers out and you play a Fae of Wishes, you get to grab 3 things from your sideboard. Stop with that pop-up, that's obnoxious.
That's money thrown away there. Hate to say it, but...
Alright, and then...
You're seeing a notification.
4 Negates, which is counter target non-creature spell. They're in there just to like, because your opponent's probably going to play something to like disrupt your flow of the game. So they're in their main deck to try to counteract any disruption. 3 Runaway Togethers. That's an instant that you choose a creature you control and a creature your opponent controls, and you return them both to their hands.
I love that picture.
Yeah, it's really cute.
Virtue is virtue, whatever the heart that
Whatever the heart that nurtures it. 3 Runaway Together, 4 Lucky Clovers, 4 Brazen Borrowers. That's, I mean, everybody knows what Brazen Borrower does. It returns permanents to owner's hand. There's also 3/1 Flying Flash. Lucky Clover makes you be able to return multiple things to hand because it's an adventure. 4 Love-Struck Beasts, the 5/5 for 3 that can't attack unless you control a 1/1 creature. And then 3 Beanstalk Giants. That's the Fertile Footsteps adventure. You get to search your library for a land card, put it into play, and then it's an XX creature, which X is the amount of lands you control. So if you have 10 lands, it's a 10 creature. And then the sideboard, so you can grab stuff with Fae of Wishes, has 1 Sorcerer's Spyglass, which turns off Witch's Oven or Planeswalkers. 2 Pulse of Marasa, it's a instant for 3 mana, 2 colors and a green. You return target creature or land card from a graveyard to its owner's hand and gain 6 life. Essentially, it's something to get you back something that you lost, and you gain 6 life if you're up against red or something. 3 Mass Manipulations, that's the sorcery that grabs creatures and planeswalkers for double X and 4 blue. 3 Nissa, who shakes the world, who I mentioned a little while ago. Planeswalker, everybody knows Nissa does at this point. 2 Flood of Tears, that's a sorcery that returns all non-land permanents to their owner's hands, and then if you return 4 or more non-token permanents you control this way, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. So that's really good. So you can return everything, and then if you have something big in your hand, you can put it out for free, which is awesome. Yes. 2 Plain White Celebrations, that's a sorcery that costs 7. 5 colors, 2 green. You may choose 4. 1 is create a 2/2 citizen token. Another one is return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Another is proliferate, and another one is you gain 4 life. Usually you gain a lot of life back with that one. And then 2 Great Henges.
No graveyard in Hearthstone.
No.
There's a pool of dead minions that you have to keep track of sometimes, but there's no like graveyard.
There's no interaction with it, right?
Yeah, it's not like thing.
So you play stuff, you annoy your opponent, and you win somehow. You can mill your opponent out, you can attack with Love-Struck Beasts and Beanstalk Giants, you can bounce things to your opponent's hand. In theory, it was awesome in my head. I actually posted on Twitter yesterday how I played the deck like 3 different times and went through 30 cards, which is half of the deck, which is 50% of the cards, and never drew Edgewall Innkeeper or Lucky Clover, which are like the engines of the deck. And this is the shit I put up with. Like it drives me crazy because I'm like, how am I going through 50% of something and 8 of those cards are in the bottom 50%? Like it's just crazy.
Is there any card that you can go and you can search for it?
Nope.
And then take it?
Nope. Damn it. Nope, not yet. Nothing in green or blue that you can search your library for a creature or. Well, there is, but it wouldn't fit. There's shared summons, which is an instant you can grab 2 creatures that don't share a name, but it's out of the curve. It costs 5, and it really wouldn't be appropriate. But anyway, that's in there. It's fun to play. I mean, if you can get your Edgewall Innkeepers and your Lucky Clovers going, maybe it's a lesson in mulligan like tactics, like to try to get those things in your opening hands. Because if you don't have a good first 3 turns, you kind of just will fall apart because your opponent will most likely kill you on turn 3 because that's what's been happening to me. But anyway,
that's
so,
brutal.
Yeah. So that it's fun. I'll put the deck list in the show notes. And then in other Magic news, the draft night.
Yeah.
At my work has been approved.
Whoa!
And so I have to shout out Chris, a friend of mine from Untapped, who I have mentioned on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Reached out to me the other day, sent me a text message, pretty unexpected. He was like, oh, by the way, the draft thing you had an idea for, we have a Rhode Island Magic Player Discord group. I was like, perfect. He's like, let me invite you to the group, and you can ask people. Sure enough, went in the Discord, put the idea out there. Yeah, of course. And Chris, can you invite Mock Sapphire? Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. There's a whole group of people who are really interested in the beer and the drafting aspect. And last night I wrote up an outline while I was at work of like prize support and entry fees and all that sort of stuff to run it by the group to see if.
Well, wait a minute, how did it get approved? How?
I just had to ask the manager at work. I just had to say.
Oh, it wasn't like a Hasbro thing.
No. Then they have nothing to do with it. We have to put the money in to buy the packs and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But it's fine. Bianca was like, yeah, sure. If it's something that's gonna like benefit
Oh, so they put some
Yeah.
cash to
So
invest
put-
in the night.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
So we're going to put that towards that, and then prizes will be gift certificate to the restaurant, beer, and then discounted and free beer with.
Do we have a date for the first one yet?
I'm looking at late January, early February. I want to get through. The pre-release and first week of the new set, because that's everybody will be at local game stores and doing stuff that way.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like impede on any of that. So it's probably looking at the first or second Sunday. It all depends on what night I work downstairs at work. So it's coming up. So it'll be in a few weeks, and then we'll do Theros Beyond Death. They also asked if
I'll come if I can. I'll be there to play if you need somebody. If you need one more person to play.
So we need six. Six.
If you need a sixth person,
yeah,
I'll play.
Awesome.
But I don't want to ruin the vibe by being the dumb Magic player.
Oh, stop that! This group of people are like awesome. Everybody's been really positive.
I'll just draft red.
So, yeah, just draft red. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
So that's a great news. I'm really excited about that. I sent
That'll offend some red player that's listening.
I offend red players all the time. It's totally fine. But yeah. So anyway, that's I'm excited that that's a thing.
That's congrats. Yeah,
it's like,
that's very exciting. That's going to be very successful, I'm sure.
Just wanted to make sure that with my thinking on how like entry fee and prizes and such, everything worked out. I sent the outline to the group last night. I had a couple replies that said it looks fair and looks good. So unless anything else goes wrong, we'll start that. So I will announce that more to the local group soon. And then our friend Adam,
yeah. Adam Kill.
Did you know Adam started playing Magic Gathering Arena?
No. What?
Yeah.
And what's he saying about it?
He likes it.
He likes it?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
He likes both.
Adam.
He likes both.
He likes both?
He likes both. Don't be
No one has
disappointed.
time for both.
Don't be apparently he has time for both. Apparently he does. So don't be disappointed.
All right.
We got a new player for both of our games.
Okay, all right.
So he was like, "What do I do?" Because there's so much. So we did the new player primer thing last week, and our friend, our good friend, picked up both games and is very excited to be playing both. So
that's cool.
Yeah, he just wanted advice on what do I buy, what do I put my money into, whatever on Arena as well. So had a little phone call with him. So. Yeah, so shout out Adam. Good job. You're doing great. Keep doing what you're doing.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
So that's my Magic segment. I will put deck lists in the show notes, and I will put, if there is anybody from the local area, the Rhode Island area, listening and is interested in the draft night at my work, which will be Trinity Brew House in Providence, just join our Discord, discord.me//
Yes.
/ Mythic Legendaries. You can join the Discord group and converse with us there. Maybe I'll even create a channel for it, or I don't even know how to do that stuff. You do all the channels, but
no,
the draft
that's super easy.
Is it easy?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But anyway, so that's Magic. So thanks for listening.
Yes, thanks for listening. Like Rich said, you can show support for the show by joining our Discord, discord.me / Mythic Legendaries. You can join us on Twitter, connect to us on Twitter at Mythic Legendary, or just search Mythic Legendaries on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
To find us, our email address is mythiclegendaries@gmail.com. Feel free to email us anything, any questions or any comments, and please tell a friend.
Yeah.
Write a review for the show.
Word of mouth is the best advertising.
Yeah. Of course, we'll take 5 stars on Apple. Only 5 stars.
If you're thinking about 4, you gotta send it through the approval process.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to email us first, and then you will look over the review
Yes.
and you'll approve it or deny it.
I will. I'll take a look. Take a look at the comments, and we'll deal with them appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
But anything 5 stars, more than welcome on the Apple Podcast. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk some Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
How is a man charged with wife's murder? Okay. Just looking through the Providence Journal here. 6.4 quake strikes Puerto Rico amid heavy seismic activity.
Oh, Ring of Fire.
Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, and just not good. Quake was followed by a series of strong aftershocks, part of a 10-day series of temblors spawned by the grinding of tectonic plates.
6.4 is no joke. Damn.
Yo, man, I was there during one of the earthquakes.
Really?
Last week, I was in Puerto Rico and experienced my first earthquake.
They're frightening, aren't they?
It was this minor one, the one I experienced, but it felt like there was a big person running back and forth in the room, like behind me, causing my bed to tilt. But then later, and it happened twice. Then there was the aftershock, but turns out the friggin' building was swaying because of the
You said it was
earthquake.
small. That's a big earthquake if a building is swaying.
Yeah.
Scary.
I'm still figuring it out. It was
scary.
crazy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Earthquakes are so frightening. I experienced a couple when I lived in California, and the first time it was in the middle of the night, and I was woken up from it, and it was so scary. George perked. You see it in movies and stuff, and they say the animals know beforehand. He perked up and started barking at the window.
Yeah.
And that's when I started to wake up, because he never barks at night unless something is going on. And then it's what I remember it is just boom, 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 this pulsating feeling,
Oh my
and
God.
things just shaking and not knowing what's happening, because I had never experienced an earthquake.
Yeah.
And he's barking. I wake up. I'm I was what? And then I had to come out of sleep so fast. I'm like, this must be an earthquake. So I just stayed still. I didn't know what to do, so I just stayed still. And it was over. And then couldn't get back to sleep because it was the middle of the night. And you're like, is this gonna happen?
You didn't go under a threshold of a door or something?
No. It didn't. It wasn't in that respect. It wasn't like a movie. I was just I was paralyzed with just
yeah.
You know,
Paralyzed. Well, fear will do that to you.
Yeah.
Anxiety. I actually wanted to talk to you about anxiety a little bit. The way anxiety can just creep in to your life, you know, in stupid ways. Oh man. Okay, so for names, I've always had a problem remembering people's names, and I have a lot of anxiety around it. And it's gotten worse. One of the classic was Melissa and Bianca, because they were always together.
Yep.
And I never was 100% sure which one is Melissa and which one is Bianca.
Right.
And so then I always look like an asshole, and I that's classic me. And then but it happened to me. I was in a cafe. I was in Seven Stars, and my old manager, Kara, was working, and I know her name is Kara, but I was afraid that I didn't.
I've been there before. Yep. You're afraid. You doubt yourself.
I doubted myself, and there was a moment where because it's been a while since I've seen her, and she was like, Mox. I was like, yes. She's just like, I remember, it just came, all the memories came flooding back. She remembered my name. And then I I missed a moment. That's what's really bothering me. I missed a moment to reconnect with someone because I was afraid to say the wrong thing.
That anxiety crept up, right? And just
dude, it's just crippling. And it just gets worse. Yeah. And I just want to bring attention to it because I think the first step in defeating anxiety, which is a lie you're telling yourself, is to shine a light on it. And so that's why I wanted to just fucking say
I like that.
I'm shining a light on that.
Shine that light. Shine bright like a diamond.
Dear Rich.
Yes. What do you want now?
Oh my God, I think we have a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, dear Rich.
Yeah.
My boyfriend of 10 months has a quote unquote bestie.
Oh God. It's a girl, isn't it?
Word. I'm not sure yet. Word he uses. Yeah, probably. That I have never met. They party together, and coincidentally, she never she can never meet up when I'm available, and I am never invited when she is hanging out.
Oh, weird. Oh, weird. Sketchy dude much?
I believe he is keeping space between us as they do drugs and party all night.
Oh, all right. They do. All right. Drugs is okay.
This makes me very uncomfortable.
No shit.
Which
Why
I have
not?
expressed numerous times.
Okay, move on, girl.
I'm uncomfortable with this.
Girl. Bye.
He has
Boy,
told
bye.
white. He has told white lies to cover up when they are
Dude,
together, and won't reply to her texts when he is next to me. Okay, Rich? We have talked about marriage and having kids. This has been something we've talked about.
All right.
Now I don't know what to do.
First of all,
So I'm frustrated. What do I do, Rich? I want to have kids with this guy.
you want to have kids with a drug-using, sketchy loser? Cool. Have fun with that.
Well, we've talked about it.
Oh, you just talked about it? Yeah. You're not really going to do it. You just talked about it. Yo, I mean, all right.
Okay.
All right. So
What's
it's hard. All right. You're with somebody for 10 months, right?
Okay.
You get involved with somebody in the beginning. You probably just getting to learn each other, right? Then you get a little bit more comfortable and things are coming. Then you learn about the friends and oh, you didn't mention that person before or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But then you get more comfortable, right? You still think this relationship. So I'm looking at this from the perspective of the girl writing in.
Okay.
I'm looking. So.
Yeah, I give her credit right off the bat though for giving trust. She put some trust in this guy, and knows he has a bestie.
Yep.
That's a female.
Yep.
And she said, "Okay, that's cool.
Right.
That's fine.
That's respect. That's
First
trust.
step is trust."
Right.
And she was okay.
First mistake: trusting this.
End of story.
End of story. It writes itself. She's stupid enough to trust this dude, and this dude is banging that girl.
Yes.
They're doing drugs together,
Yes.
and they're not going to get married because drugs. People who are addicted to drugs have a problem.
Yeah.
It's
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
It's a disease.
lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle. People who do drugs with friends, who that's a problem. You don't want to be involved with somebody like that. I've known.
Because now they have a supportive community supporting the habit.
Yeah. Oh, you're not gonna do heroin with me? I'm just gonna go with Sheila and do some heroin. I'll see you later. And we can talk about getting married when I get home. Ugh. Drugs are an awful, awful thing. Addictive, heavy drugs. I've known people who've passed away from drugs, overdoses.
Yeah.
I've had friends who spiraled into doing heavy drugs, and I don't know them anymore. And every single one of those people, and I can say this with 100% truth and accuracy, is that none of those people are honest people. None of those people would, after their drug use got worse and worse, lying and manipulation and just trust goes out the window.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking that this person is telling you the truth and the things that they're saying involve a girlfriend who they do drugs together or party with, you either have to suck it up and realize that you're wrong, or you're in for the worst relationship of your life. So that's a pretty serious one. That's
Yeah.
I don't want to make too much fun of it. But I mean, seriously, yo, no. Just,
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no, no.
I'm sorry, lady.
Yeah. And if you're doing drugs, you gotta stop that.
I mean, is there?
That's what I thought. I thought, first of all, you're doing drugs, so you're having a problem.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable.
Just
end.
Just find someone who doesn't have a female friend that they go off and do drugs with. Pick your spots. Pick your spots a little bit better.
This is not the father of your children. No, you would be forever regretting that decision.
Yep.
So
my
but good for
takeaway-
you for being trusting in the beginning, because
it's a big thing to trust somebody.
It's okay to have a friend that's opposite sex.
Right.
But it's not okay when.
But when those little things start popping,
where that make you go Yeah.
Things make you go.
I never see her. We never He's not, you know, just break into his phone and.
Remember that song?
Yes.
Cool. Well, good luck with that. I
so-
really hope that you don't get that you eliminate that person from your life.
Yeah, walk away, run away.
Yeah.
Fast.
Yeah.
Just get all your shit and get the fuck out of there.
Exactly.
You can do much better.
Yes.
Star Wars.
Yeah. Star Wars. Here's your spoiler alert. Before we start speaking, you can turn it off right now, and then we'll timestamp it in the show notes if you have made it this far and want to hear about Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Follow along. If not, look at the timestamp, and then you can come back at the end of the episode. This is probably going to be the end of the episode anyway, so if you don't want to hear it, then you can just shut it off, and thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Tell a friend.
Tell a friend, do all that stuff. We really appreciate it. And now we're going to talk about Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
5 stars.
Yeah? For you?
For me.
Yeah?
Cry like a baby.
Okay.
When Chewbacca.
Oh my god. I stood up. I stood up.
What?
So I went to the movies in Lincoln.
Yeah.
The crappy mall up in Lincoln.
Yeah.
And I got into the movie theater 15 minutes before I was going to show. Nobody was in theater. I sat dead center, exactly where you think you would sit if you're in an empty movie theater, like dead center.
Yeah.
Only like 4 more people came in when the previews were going. And so like I felt comfortable, like I felt like I was just alone. I could react how I wanted to react. And when that happened, I stood up and I did this. I put my arms out. I was like, whoa, because they got me.
It got me.
It got me.
It got me too. I cried like a baby.
Totally distracted me from the friggin' force lightning or whatever that she was using. That whole part of it to be like, yo, she's really a Palpatine. You're just like, oh my god, like total like sleight of hand kind of like, yeah, that was like total distraction that I didn't even put 2 and 2 together at that point.
I had no idea. I didn't see it coming.
No.
Did you?
No.
That she was Palpatine's granddaughter?
No. I don't think, I mean.
I should have seen it coming. I didn't read any spoilers.
No, me neither.
Who is she? So it's been the story arc. Her whole story arc is who is she, who were her parents,
Right.
and
Right. The last movie, the middle one, what was that one called again? Not the fucking whatever Jedi, whatever it was.
Jamie.
The middle one, the last movie. I didn't like it. I wasn't invested in it. I kind of lost interest in the whole like storyline. It was just not a good movie to me. I think a lot of people feel that way. So I kind of forgot a little bit.
I don't even remember it. I'd have to watch it. I remember liking it though, but
all I remember is Finn and Rose. Like all I remember is that stupid relationship that they shoehorned in the middle one. That was just like, can we stop making people love each other?
Oh, there was a thing with the whole casino thing.
That thing, random let's run through on like weird horses and stuff.
That's like a side quest, yeah.
Yeah, the random side quest that doesn't award you anything. So that being said, I just kind of like haven't paid attention. I didn't read anything up on it. Even when the trailer came out, I was like, all right. And that was that for me. And then I was like, you know what? I have to see it. I've been a Star Wars fan since I was a kid. Went through all the movies. Been there. I have a Star Wars tattoo.
What about the thing where they're connected, so they're transferring actual objects through space time?
That was cool. Yes. Yeah. The fight, the invisible fight. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That was really neat.
And his lightsaber, and then he saves her at the end.
All right. So
it's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful.
I thought that was the fucking corniest moment.
Are you kidding me?
I thought it was like the.
Are you kidding me?
It didn't hit. All right. So I'm glad this is happening because this is exactly how I feel about the movie. He
redeems himself.
Redemption, save, kiss, saves the world, everything. Like typical Star Wars, right? Everything is great.
I left the movie and I said, this is why I love Disney. Disney gives you the fantasy. They give you the happy ending.
Well, my problem.
Life has too many fucking sad endings. We need some happy endings.
Well, I didn't want a sad ending. I just didn't want it to be like exactly how I saw it coming. I'm
Okay.
like, yo, like as soon as
I
the
didn't
two
see it.
lightsaber thing, and then
I could never have guessed that at the last second she get the other lightsaber and do the
like
thing, and
it was like all right, here we go. And then as soon as they show his hand come up, he wasn't dead. He wasn't dead, right? When he force pushed him off the cliff or whatever, right? Remember?
when Palpatine died.
Yeah, no, when Palpatine pushed Kylo Ren off the cliff or whatever,
yeah.
and you thought like he was gone.
I thought he was gone.
And then he puts his hand up. I'm like, as soon as he put his hand up, which I saw coming, because people like that don't die that unceremoniously.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. As soon as he put his hand up, I'm like, he's gonna kiss Rey, and it's gonna be awful. Sure enough, 3 minutes later, kisses Rey, dies. Whatever.
Oh my god, they had the best. Like sexual tension
I
throughout
didn't
all of
feel
it.
I
You
didn't
didn't see
feel
that?
it. I didn't feel it.
It was
It
so
felt
much
like brother
fun.
and sister. It felt like brother and sister the whole time. That's why that kiss was so freaking awkward.
No, it was so much fun with his shirt off, and he's like, he was hot, first of all, but also
Adam Driver is weird hot. Adam Driver is like,
yeah, he's
weird hot.
but
Yeah.
hot.
yeah.
There was a really fun sexual tension. It was really well done.
This is why you feel. I felt awkward. It just felt
Okay,
awkward to me.
what about when all the Jedi start saying things?
To like power her
come
up.
to me.
Yeah.
What, be with me,
Yeah.
be with me.
Yeah.
I think they could have done even more with that.
Yeah.
I think that it did feel good, but I feel like it could have been even more.
Yeah.
Oh, and Obi-Wan said he said something like it's always a balance.
Mm-hmm.
It's some,
Yeah.
Obi-Wan
cool.
is the best
Cool.
Jedi ever.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan, that fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin,
Mm-hmm.
incredible laser sword fight. Lightsaber. Incredible.
I felt like the movie. What?
Speaking of lightsabers,
What?
her lightsaber at the end. She made her own lightsaber.
Yeah, she did.
And it's like golden.
Yo, can we just? I just might be jaded at an older age, but
What are you talking about? It's amazing.
it was cool. Yes, but can we just not? Can we have one movie? No, we can't because it's Star Wars and it's Disney and everybody's expecting. But can we have a movie that before it even starts, the last line of the movie is, "My name is Skywalker." Like, can we not have that happen? Can we have it maybe happen 20 minutes earlier and then have like a bigger ending rather than a corny ass like, "What's your name? Skywalker." And then yeah, we get it. It's in the freaking name of the movie. Like, that's corny. It's corny.
That didn't strike me as corny at all. And then they were back on Tatooine.
Yeah, that was cool. Tatooine's cool.
That's where she was. That's where she grew up, though. Anyway, right? It was Tatooine.
Jakku.
Yeah,
that's where she was doing all the scavenging and stuff.
Oh, okay. They're similar climates, though.
They are desert climates. So here's how I felt about the movie overall. The new characters in this trilogy, I never felt any investment to any of them, like emotional investment, more than just like they were cool new characters. I liked them all.
C-3PO was so awesome.
C-3PO was awesome.
Oh my god, with the red eyes.
Yeah, C-3PO was awesome. They definitely brought the comic relief like he was in the original, the middle trilogy. Like, definitely some moments where I was like, that's funny, like legit funny. But that's the thing. C-3PO, R2-D2, Han Solo, Chewbacca, and Lando. Whenever those characters were on screen, I was hyped. I was like, I feel it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Then when they weren't there, that excitement is just stifled, and you're like, all right, we're back to the whatever. Yeah, okay, cool. We're back. All right, and then Lando shows up. I'm like, oh yeah. You know, I mean,
with the crew, with the whole with the crew, army. Yeah.
And then, I mean, so it's because it's been in my body. Star Wars has been part of my life ever since I was a kid. Those are the characters that you bond with, and I've had however many 30 years, 40 years of my life, to appreciate those movies and be like, those are the characters, you know? And then to only have like 4 or 5 years to be part of a new trilogy of characters that don't really have that deep of an arc, or there's not all this like backstory, and there's not more time.
I used to rewatch them. You know, I used to rewatch the original trilogy. I had them on VHS and I had them on DVD. And now with all this digital everything, like I haven't been able to rewatch like the old ones like I used to. And I think I'm missing that piece where I used to like really dig into the characters and the stories even more. But now it's kind of like they're coming out so fast. I just like watch it, and then the next thing's coming, and
it's an onslaught of like things and media. But I mean, I think and of course Princess Leia. I mean, that was beautiful. I think that was like the most tasteful and beautifully done like writing off of a character ever. And R.I.P. Carrie Fisher. I mean, that was like that was beautiful, and it was like definitely got me a little weepy, because it's one thing when a character passes away in a movie, but it's another thing when a character and their actor in real life have passed away, and they like have to figure it out, and they did such a good job with that. That was really cool.
Nothing short of magical, the way they did all that. And
cool flashback of Luke training Leia with the lightsabers. Remember when they're telling the story or whatever, when they did the like
that she was Jedi training.
Yeah, because she's a Jedi. Yeah,
which that was great to see that.
I kind of like forget that Leia's a Jedi, right?
Yeah,
like,
because we never had that scene. They just did that. They just kind of put that in.
But that was great to see young Luke, young Leia training each other. Because a friend at work who's a total nerd, Ryan, he's a customer. I appreciate his wisdom in this stuff. We were talking about this on Monday. We were talking about the movie, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's part of in the books or in the canon of the Star Wars universe. No, it's nowhere in the movies, but it's part of the books that Luke was training Leia to be a Jedi. Like,
it's in the books.
It's in there, so that's like real. Like that's an actual thing. They didn't just like
canon.
It is canon. So that was cool to learn, and I was like kind of excited.
Very
to be
cool.
Like, oh, cool.
So the people that read the books must have been even more stoked.
Yeah, exactly. So that was cool. I felt.
How many stars?
I'll give it 4. If we're doing a 5-star, I'll give it 4.
Okay.
Because it was an entertaining movie. I felt like all the characters had. Most of the characters had their moment, right? I feel like Finn should have had so much more.
Yeah.
He deserves a lot more than just being like, "Hey, I got to tell you something." He wanted to say that he's Force sensitive, and he probably has Jedi in him somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? Because did you notice? Did you see like how?
No.
If you go back and watch it.
Okay.
Finn is definitely like, I think even in the last movies too, he's definitely Force sensitive. And at that moment where they were Snake Pit, and he was like, "Rey, I have to tell you something." It wasn't going to be like, "Rey, I love you." It was going to be like, "Rey, I think I can use the Force," because he was like
wow, that kind of I didn't catch any of that.
Yeah, so I feel like he has, 100%. That's going to be the next movie. There's going to be a Finn spin. I'm calling it right now. Calling it right now. There's going to be a Finn spin.
Oh my god, I hope so.
Probably watch it be like the next Mandalorian thing. Instead of Mandalorian, it'll be like the unknown Jedi or something. Anyway, so Finn, I think Finn deserved a lot more, because in the last movie, at the end of the last movie, he's kind of like was pushed off to the side, and then this movie, he was just like.
Can the Jedi exist without the Sith?
Well, it always has to be balance in the Force, so no.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If we go on Star Wars rules, no, that's not how it works.
We defeated the evil Emperor for sure.
Yep.
He's dead.
Yep. He got his face burnt off. Yeah, that was. Yeah, he's creepy, huh? Palpatine's gross.
Totally.
Like, I was grossed out when him.
What about all his minions?
Yeah, those are creepy too.
There's like a million of them.
That was really creepy.
They must have been clones and stuff.
Yeah, that was really creepy.
They didn't give any faces to any of them.
No, that was cool though. I like that arena they were in, and all the Palpatine scenes I think were really cool.
Very cool, very creepy.
Yeah.
That planet, the whole planet.
Oh yeah. Planet being like.
It looked like they had to walk miles to get to the layer. You know?
I like the size of things. Like in the three movies, how they translated how gigantic things were, like the Death Star and that planet and that big.
And the Death Star ruins.
Yeah, like the Death Star ruins being like when you see them from a distance, just how big. Like when you can correlate like the dish, right? Like the laser beam dish, when you see the wreckage and you just see like a fraction of it and how big it was.
Right.
And you're like, holy crap. Yeah, I think that stuff was cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah. But overall, 4 stars. I have to say that I definitely liked it more when the old characters were on screen. The moment between Kylo Ren and Han Solo, like the ghost moment was really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
Me either, yeah. I like that.
That was good.
He said, what did he say? Kylo Ren is dead?
Yeah. And did you catch, I hope you caught it, when Kylo Ren was like, Dad, and he couldn't say, and then Han Solo was like, I know.
Oh, yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
You know what he was going to say?
He was just going to say, I'm sorry.
No, he was going to say, I love you.
I love you.
And then he says, I know. Remember with Princess Leia from the original?
What?
Remember?
No. What? Oh my God, what am I missing?
I love you, I know, Han Solo.
Oh! Oh my God!
Yeah, remember? Now you remember?
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh my God!
God, I love you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh! That's
And
beautiful.
Kylo Ren was going to say, Dad, I love you. And he did, and he's like, Dad, I know.
Oh
right?
my God!
Poetic.
Fucking
That
beautiful.
was a beautiful moment. I thought that was great. Call back to the original, like the whole thing. I was like,
That was beautiful. Holy shit.
Yeah.
What a movie.
Yeah, it was a great movie. So, 4 stars. I'm glad I finally saw it. I'm glad I saw it in a toned down theater with just a few people around. They really freaking got me with that Chewbacca moment.
Me too.
So tears.
Oh yeah.
Like Chewbacca doesn't deserve to die. He's just a big hairy dog man walking around with a bow.
I think they live to be 1,000 or so.
Yeah, he's only 750 right now, so it's all good. So cool.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Sticking with us for 2 hours and 25 minutes. Timestamps.
Yep, we're gonna timestamp that. That's gonna wrap up episode 28. Don't do drugs. Run away from your boyfriend or girlfriend that's banging somebody on the side at the club, doing lines of coke. Bad news. Don't have your children with them. And girl belongs to the Titans.
Have a great day. See you later. Cool. Oh, now you have your 2.5 hour video on your phone.
Oh yeah. Is it still recording?